attention, please. There is an announcement going on in the studio of Troy Cablevision. And here we are this morning, bright and shiny. I'm Mike Amos, and this is Today in L.A. And
I'm Forrest Lee.
Forrest Lee is with us. We're waiting on Bill Rice Jr., so we've got a full slate on today. We've got a great show. We're going to be talking about some important issues, and that's how you go to a Troy University football game this year. So we've got some of the logistics around football this season, and you know, from what I gather, Forrest Lee, run Forrest, is that Troy University is going to let you in the stadium if they can fit you, you know.
Well, this is going to be season ticket holders along with Troy students will be guaranteed a spot, and then it will be, you know, tickets available, you know, depending on the size of the regular season ticket holders. The cheerleaders will be there, the marching band will be there, but they're restricted to the stadium. They will still perform at halftime and after the game, but it will be in the stands. It says if single game tickets become available, it will be announced at a later date. And we have a phone call coming in here, Mike.
Call coming in.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, you on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Well, Mike Amos calling in from Grayton Beach, Florida. Is that right?
Yeah, rainy Grayton Beach, Florida.
Gosh, it was raining on.
It's going to be a beautiful week down here.
Well, it rained on us this morning about, I want to say about 5 o'clock, and we got a pretty good rain, and expecting more rain this week. I tell you something about the weather last night. It was pleasant. Boy, it's downright cool. Did you know that?
It was nice. It was nice.
So,
it's not many times in our lives, I don't know, maybe y'all have lived long enough where you have 2 hurricanes at one time in the Gulf of Mexico.
And hopefully, where is it heading? Do you know yet?
I mean, it looks like both of them were heading towards Louisiana. I know Marco, when I went to bed, was a hurricane, and then I think it was a tropical storm, like 70 miles per hour, which is pretty much a hurricane.
Yeah.
But it was going towards New Orleans and going to go, after that, make a turn towards Texas. But Laura looks like the real deal, like it could be a Category 3, they were saying last night when I went to bed. So that's the one you got to really watch and see what happens.
Oh, yeah, no question about it. Mike Amos calling in.
Rained, I can't imagine when the ground is already soaking wet from, you know, they're saying New Orleans might get 8 inches of rain. So, I mean, then you turn around and have another storm with all that rain coming in a couple days later. I can't imagine all the trees that will fall.
Well, like we were talking about it yesterday, your mother and I were talking about it yesterday. We lost several trees during the bad storm a few weeks ago, but the ground is still soft, and if you get a lot more rain and some wind, you know, we could have trees just blown over, you know.
Get your chainsaw now.
Hopefully that's not the case. Forrest Lee.
All kinds of stuff going on. Troy has named their starting quarterback, Gunnar Watson, apparently has won the job at Troy, so that's big news for
that is big news.
Any Troy fan out there. I mean, you're talking about a kid that played mop-up duty in, you know, 3 or 4 games last year, and I think he threw for only 82 yards. I mean, Coach Lindsey seemed like he really was just not confident in him last to come in and throw the ball and run his offense, in my opinion. I mean, at the numbers you look at, I mean, most of the time he just handed off, and you bring in a junior college All-American, you know, Parker McNeil, and then the free kid out of Banks started playing a lot better, and then one of the best quarterbacks they've ever signed out of Georgia, out of Leesboro, Kyle Till, but Watson wins the job, so congratulations to Gunnar Watson.
You know, now you wonder if any of them will transfer, or could they transfer, you know, if they're disappointed enough that they're not number one.
I don't know if they would transfer this late. I think it'd probably be too late because the season starts in less than, 10 days, I think. But
I mean, hopefully that would be the case, that they would have to stay.
That's another major issue, though. I don't know if y'all read, but Lyle Monroe had to close practice and shut it down for several days because they had 10 players test positive for coronavirus.
Yep.
So now is the Lyle Monroe game going to happen on the 5th due to them not being able to buddy of mine. He said they had the 12th open for a game, and Troy has the 12th open for a game. So will that game be pushed back a week?
That would be great if they could do it that way. You mean they both have the 12th open?
Yeah, they both have the 12th open, but not for Troy fans. I mean, I think everybody just wants to play, as soon as possible. But that is a possibility, I guess, if they ended up not being able to get their players back in time, that could happen.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying, I'd rather have the game on the 12th and not have it at all. That's what I would say.
Yeah, that's true. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, that game was talking about, some possible television coverage because it's a conference game and there's not many games, slated to be played that day.
Yeah, no question about it. This show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass in Troy. Remember, nobody beats a Premier deal, nobody. And appreciate Jason Gregory and all the great folks that support high school and college athletics. And of course, we've got Bill Rice is in this for you boys and girls. Bill Rice, the storyteller, is in the house right now, and we're gonna bring him up in just a few moments. We like to call this laid-back television. Come on up, come on down. Just like on the, wait a minute now, where would we do that other chair?
Let me swap.
Okay.
Let me get on the end here, Bill.
Rice, the big 6'3", 222-pounder.
Tight ends.
Tight end is coming in and we're gonna move out. I'm gonna move out, and here comes our pitcher, and we're on the way. Come on this way more.
I'm in. Okay, I'm in.
There we go. We're looking wonderful, wonderful. Rice, it's good to have you back.
Well, it's good
put
to
the good
see
look
y'all.
one on the end. That's okay.
I've missed y'all very much.
You got the mic over there.
Yes, sir. I got it.
All right.
And appreciate what y'all did. What I've been is my wife started school on August 9th as a teacher at Charles Simpson High School. Well, I've got a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old children, and they had not started school yet, and so I had to stay home with the kids for the last 2 weeks. So I've missed y'all, and that's where I've
Looked
been.
like you might have got another haircut, did you?
No, it's that last Raymond's haircut is just filling in real
when
nice.
is that a girl in my office asked me when that redheaded guy would come back on the office. Of course,
It's hurt our views tremendously. Me not being on Zoom and Bill not being on the show, we're down 50 views on Facebook.
oh yeah, no question about it. Of course, we are coming to you live from Troy Cablevision on South Grundy Street in Troy, Alabama, where we're at full strength today. Mike Amos, your host, along with Forrest Lee and Bill Rice Jr. Let's hit the major topics, and we got huge topics to go over. We're gonna let.
I got every high school score too, so if there's any scores you'll need,
Good. Now, just in our area, I don't want scores that are not, interest in our area.
Yeah, Aaron took Dale County 25-13, so that was an area.
Yeah, and you know what? They came back to win that game because they trailed in the first half. Arrington did, and let me tell you, that young man can coach the game of football down there. And
I mean, when you have Stephen Kilcrease and Chuck Dunn at a small little 2A school,
Yeah.
and that's two of the best coaches you could ever ask for.
no question about it. And of course, did your favorite team, Pike Road, win, Rice?
They did win. They beat Montgomery Catholic in the Crampton Bowl. The big controversy I heard is some of their student body got scolded for not social distancing in the stands.
Well, let me tell you one thing, and we're gonna get back with this
yes.
on and off on Forrest is in charge of letting you know this morning about how the logistics of each Troy game. But I'll tell you this right now, just between me and you, this right here will be worn during the football game, except, now this is a kicker here though, except when you're drinking or eating. Hey, so look, this is what you'll have to do is, hey, let me
Get you
let me
4
get
boxes
some
of
coffee.
popcorn.
Yeah, it sounds like if you purchase season tickets to Troy
Now let me cover up.
of any kind, you're going to be able to go to the football games. So anybody that has purchased season tickets, now you can't go up to the gate and buy a ticket at the game. You have to have season tickets to go to games.
You pretty much, well, to be sure of good.
University has established that. So I think that means that anybody can go if you have season tickets.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If you have season tickets, I think that they're going to let you in. I think they'll do it game by game, though. I think they'll do it.
Well, if that'll be some normalcy. It'll give everybody a break and get a chance to see their friends. Even if you're not a football fan, I would think you'd want to get out of the house and see some friends and do something different. So I hope everybody supports our Trojans.
I'll tell you the most positive thing to a lot of people is there will be tailgating. Just won't be as large a scale, but there will be tailgating outside the stadium. No Trojan walk. And that has gotten to be a popular deal. And but there will be tailgating, not quite as heavy as you've seen in the past, but I'm sure certain people that have bought spaces in the tailgate area, and they have.
That's the difference in Alabama. Alabama has canceled tailgating.
Yeah.
There will be limitations.
There will be limitations, and I would think priority would go to somebody that's got a tent and season tickets, like a bank or some of those folks.
How the Alumni House handle everything? They've always been a big tailgating spot.
Well, I think it's going to be there. They won't let you have a buffet. You'll have to have something like a box lunch. It won't be. I don't know if they'll let you grill. We'll have to get into that as far as in a minute. Will they let you use a grill?
Right, yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't seen that particular part, but I know inside the stadium there's going to be prepackaged foods, and your drinks will have a lid on it. Probably, I remember at Alabama games, they'd unscrew your Coke and take your top.
Yeah.
But you could keep your top.
Yeah.
They may change.
I think that you got to have a cover on your drink and probably straws.
No draft beer this year at Troy games?
I don't know. That's right. No draft beer. I don't think
it's not in the paper.
I don't think. I would think you would. That was something that wasn't mentioned, but it will be mentioned on down the line. Whether or not they sell that. That's outside in the tailgate areas. I'm sure. If you wanted an adult beverage, you could have one. If you brought your own and you were in a tent or whatever. But the alcohol at the game, I don't know if that will be prohibited at all. And of course, again, we'll be bringing you all these updates and more information. You can call us right here on our set because we've got the regulations by way of the messenger this morning. And of course, Bill Rice Jr. is here, and tell us how this thing.
I was on Facebook a lot yesterday, and not everybody, a lot of people were talking about the kind of draconian response at the University of Alabama. Their president is cracking down on students. Apparently has seen some positive test numbers he does not like. He's got the Tuscaloosa police and the University of Alabama police said they are going to enforce all of these regulations, mask, social distancing, not only on campus but off campus. They are going to go and check people's houses and apartments off campus. They got these tough rules for fraternities and sororities where basically, I don't know why you'd want to even be in the fraternity or sorority this year. And they say that if people do not comply, that's the word, or obey, there will be escalating consequences. They say that several times, including up to kicking you out of school. If you break their rules, not just I'm talking about if you have a party at the fraternity house, or if you serve meals where you sit down at the table in the fraternity house, you got to stay in your room at the fraternity house. You cannot gather in the main hall of the fraternity house and sit on the couches and talk to your buddies.
Oh, man.
I have a cousin that's a student up there, and her mom told me that they've even issued an edict that says if you have a picture of yourself on social media, Instagram is the one they mentioned, you better be wearing a mask in that photo. If there is any photo of yourself without a mask, take it down right now. I haven't confirmed if that's true. I'm told it is, but That scares the living daylights out of me. If people are now telling you what pictures you can and can't put on your social media.
Now, he's talking about the University of Alabama. Now,
Yeah,
he's not talking about Troy or
Auburn's upset too.
Auburn's got all kinds of issues too. All the kids going to the bars, and there's record numbers going to bars in Tuscaloosa and Auburn. I don't know how much involved Nick Saban is in Tuscaloosa trying to make it a way for these kids to not be able to host any parties and fraternities and sororities. And I don't know how they can police anything outside of the university, though. I mean, surely they can't go to some house party off 15th Street and close it down.
Yeah, that's interesting, Michael. But they say that they're partnering with the Tuscaloosa Police Department, and they've got local rules too and mandates, and they're going to enforce them that way by using the Tuscaloosa Police Department.
I mean, there's 32,000 cases yesterday, so that's the lowest I've seen in weeks. 32,000 cases and only 400 deaths. So
that's nationwide.
The numbers seem like they're starting to come down pretty good.
Well, hopefully they'll come up with some kind of
what did Trump announce yesterday? There's some kind of plasma that's they're using as a therapeutic now. Is that right?
That's right. There's some plasma treatment that he's real bullish on.
You mean the president?
Yeah, this is after you've had COVID.
Major press conference yesterday about it.
Here's the headline from the Dothan Eagle, thanks to Forrest. Trump touts plasma treatment for COVID-19. I'm familiar with that because, people that have had COVID-19 and recovered, the researchers want their blood or their plasma for these treatments. It's real in demand. And so apparently they've developed a treatment. This is for after you've already got it. This will, I don't know if it'll cure it's the right word, but mitigate it, make it not near as severe.
Well, that's something that would be a blessing, no question about it. And
well, as far
football scores from the weekend: Elba 50, Daleville 0.
And that new coach at Elba and Daleville, always has a good program. And boy, Elba must be loaded, Mike.
How about the great Ed Rigby and Eufaula 50, Carroll Ozark 7.
And then, all right, let me tell you this. I'm looking up toward the box here where everything is controlled here at our studio. Steve Camp, wonderful presentation. Did y'all watch any of it?
No, but he did the game.
So let me tell you this. That was excellent. Best play-by-play guy, Steve, we've had in a long time. And it's not Bulldog, whatever. The guy you had doing the play-by-play was the best one we've maybe ever had here on our cable.
Wow.
A lot better than Mike Amos.
Well, I thought he was good. I tell you what, I don't know if anybody's any better than John Forney. As the Alabama partisan are crossing away, as he's being lifted up by Coach Paul Bryant across the way, and snap back touchdown. The kick is up. It is high enough. It is far enough. It is good. And with timeout on the field, Alabama 44, Auburn 14.
Hey, but Rigby and Eufaula, they host Central Phoenix City this Friday.
Won't that be a good one?
They lost
I'd like to see that.
a knockdown drag out against Hoover.
The Marbury Bulldogs beat Charles Henderson 21-14. That game was a jamboree, but did anybody get to watch that? Wasn't that on Troy Cable as well?
I saw some of it, but let me get back to the game with Carroll and Eufaula. I thought the presentation was excellent. I thought the camera work was excellent, and I thought the general play-by-play and everything was excellent. And it was done by people that were hired by this studio. And of course, congratulations to them. I thought it went real.
Well, I would
smooth.
think these broadcasts would be more important than ever this year with COVID.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, no question about it. It'd be great. You're right, and but you'd have to change some.
Like a lot of doctors' offices and hospitals and stuff would want to advertise this year.
Yeah, no question about it.
I would.
Want to mention other games of interest, of course. As we mentioned, Eufaula Wallop, Carroll of Ozark, wasn't even close. They got a fine quarterback at Eufaula. I don't believe Charles Henson played for Eufaula this year, do they?
They're not in the region.
You follow 6A.
Yeah, they're 6A now. You're right.
Eufaula's bigger than Charles Henderson?
Well, as far as number of boys,
6'8" last year.
That's
it's
amazing.
all they do it by number of boys in that class. Isn't that right?
Yeah, you got to remember, Rigby kept Rodney Jordan as the offense coordinator, and then Jarrell Jernigan, the Troy greats, as receiver coach. He's got a really good coaching staff over there as well.
Rodney's a fine coach.
You know, Rodney was
From the land of Goshen.
he was a great player.
Rodney's.
I remember when he signed, and then I watched him because he was from Goshen closely, but that guy could block, buddy, and so I'm not surprised that he's a super coach.
Of course, his dad, the late Ned Jordan.
Head coaching job.
What now?
Probably next year.
Oh yeah, if somebody don't hire him, they're wrong. My buddy that left Elba, Mike, didn't he go to Rehoboth? Where did he go?
Yeah, Page Harrison
And
and
he walloped.
Rehoboth had their first win.
And they walloped. Yeah, they won big. And Pate's a good friend of mine. He's a good coach.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a guy that won a lot of games at Dale County, and then won a lot of games at Elba, and now he's at Rehoboth. He's a guy that we know very well.
Go up, go up. That's how we used to run wind sprints.
What did the cheerleaders make all the signs that are on the fence, right? And in the gym, what was the one that when you played op that you saw 5 times? What did it say?
We used to run wind sprints. Up.
You know, I'm talking about the banners that the cheerleaders make,
Yeah.
the spirit banners.
No, what they say?
It said Bop Op.
Bob up. Yeah.
Hey,
Well, let me just say this. They scored 60. They put 60 on somebody. Who was it? Pleasant Home?
Rehoboth, you're asking about Rehoboth. They won 18-0 against Kenny Keith and Providence Christian.
But you shut out Kenny Keith, and it's pretty good.
it's Elbat Op this Friday.
That's an old rivalry.
Guess who I was sitting next to at dinner and lunch yesterday? I was at Red Schoolhouse, and I was eating fresh peas, fresh corn, freshly made potato salad.
They actually still have the buffet, or did they serve you?
No, they served me in pulley bones. And
Ooh,
sitting
pulley
right
bones.
across from me was one Tom Garrett, who is the assistant head football coach, a defensive coach for one of the best teams in the Alabama Independent Schools, Chambers Academy. They walloped
You had my attention at pulley bone.
Mikey, I don't know if it's the former Troy University coach.
They beat Lee Scott really bad.
They beat Lee Scott. Lee Scott, one of the largest schools in the Alabama Independent Schools. And at one time was coached by former Troy head coach, Mike.
Yeah, Robert Maddox.
Yeah, is he still coaching or is he
I don't
retired?
think so.
No, he retired. Opp beat Geneva 67-14. So Opp's,
Boy, I tell you, me and the Geneva, what happened?
Well, it sounds like there were a lot of blowouts this weekend.
But somebody can throw for Opp, and somebody can throw for you follow. We know that, don't we?
It's Op and Elba this
Charles
Friday.
Henderson, of course, loses in that jamboree. Thank goodness it was jamboree. We've got some stories to tell about high school football and the way that these schools handled it, and most of the teams there'll be I would say half the team started this weekend, and the
everybody
rest of
started over 100 games.
That was a
100 teams.
bunch
all
of
right,
games.
okay. Well, give us some scores on James.
Yeah, Thompson defending state champs. They played Oxford on Saturday, won 56-34.
So they're becoming the top team in the whole state. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, won it all last year, and of course, Oxford has had a great program for several years as well.
Now, your buddy over at Hoover was getting beat by Central Phoenix City most of the ball game, and he came back and beat them 43-33 or something like that. What was it?
They said at halftime, Niblett didn't go to the locker room. They said he jogged 5 miles around the stadium.
No, you're wrong, aren't you? Are you serious?
They say Niblett jogs or runs, I guess would maybe be called like 12 to 14 miles.
Yeah, I knew he did. Yeah.
Guys, that's about like Nick Coste's numbers,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. That's right.
I want to mention Lou Byrne. They have a new head coach. They won against J.U. Blackshire 49-19.
You gotta want to go to JU Blackshear, buddy. I promise you.
Yeah, that's another blowout.
It's in the big town. All right, can anybody handle this? It's in the big town of.
I yield to you.
Yeah, come on now. Somebody's
What
got to
county?
know this now. You don't know high school
Claiborne.
football.
Claiborne.
What'd you say?
Claiborne County? Is that
No.
what you said? It's,
How about
Wilcox?
Uriah? Uriah.
Okay.
Oh,
You know, at one time, Troy University had 3 kids on their cheerleading squad from Uriah at JU Blackshear High School.
3 from the cheerleading squad from
Right.
Uriah.
Years ago, I can remember that. Okay.
What is Charles Henderson and Troy schools all open now?
Yes,
They
today.
open today.
Right,
Congratulations.
Pike
I'll
County
tell
schools.
you what, school starts at 7:30, and so I hope my wife, she had to take Jack to pre-K at Troy Elementary School, Maggie to 3rd grade at Troy Elementary School, drop them off with all the cars, and then make it to her classroom by 7:30. So
And where's her classroom?
it's in the 200 building at Charleston, in Miss
Golly.
Whitman's old classroom.
Boy,
They're going to have to
She taught
start
me.
early, aren't they?
They're starting earlier, and they're letting them out earlier. I got to pick up. School's let out at 2:20 in the afternoon this year.
Do they really?
but I
That
heard
is
they weren't
soon?
going to open the doors to 7:30.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
well,
just
that's-
real.
How's that going?
The logistics are really different.
Well, and in the past, they would get out at 3:15.
Yeah.
I would love that if I was a student, get out early, you know.
Maggie is going to go to one of her friends' mother is a teacher, and she's going to go sit in her classroom for 30 minutes. And then that'll give me 30
Bless
extra.
their heart. Well, I tell you, Rice, it's tough.
But they are excited to be going. Like, you think about those kids, they have been cooped up in a little
A
house
long time.
since March 20th.
No question.
Barely have seen any kids their own age. I mean, just almost none. So they've seen their mom and dad and their little brother or big sister, and now finally they're getting ready to see other people, so they are excited.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
excited to see you this
We're
morning.
excited.
We had the folks on from Pike County the other day.
Dr. Carter and Dr. Head.
As far as virtual and actually kids attending class, they were saying it's going to be 50-50 for all the Pike County schools, Goshen, Brundage, Banks.
Mm-hmm.
What are they saying at Charles Henderson as far as numbers? Are they going to have more than that?
I've talked to some 6th grade teachers, and right now it's probably 30 to 40% that are going virtual
Yeah.
in the 6th grade class. But
Sounds
I'll
about right.
try to work on that number.
Carrie said that she's got 14, I think it's her largest class in her class, so it's typically 28 to 30, so it's about 50% reduction in her actual classroom size. So it's going to be very different, and some of them are going online, and then they've got this program they've contracted out that they can do it with. She doesn't have to do 2 classes. In other words, she doesn't teach the students that are in her classroom and then do a completely different lesson for the people online. But also she can reach out to the people that are online and learning at home and help them too.
Okay, we've got so many things going on.
Camera the whole time she's actually teaching the kids in class?
I don't think so. I don't.
That's what I was asking the other day. I was like, do you have to do both? Do you have to teach the kids that are actually at the school, or then you have to video something for the kids at home? Sounds like a lot on the teachers right now. Boy, man, that's a lot of work.
All right, for the 6th grade teachers, I've talked to them. For example, if Bill and I are teachers, we're going to get half of the kids in the 6th grade, and the other 2 teachers will get the other half. And Bill and I will teach the subjects to our students.
That are there.
When it's time to swap, I go to his classroom, he'll come to mine, the kids won't be swapping. The only time the kids are in the hallway is if they have to go to the bathroom. Now, they'll go out and take breathing breaks. There's one teacher on that hall who's doing all virtual.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
So we're laughing about it, but
Yeah. There's one.
Johnny had, he's on a breathing break.
I mean, that's when they all go outside and social distance. Take your mask off and get you some fresh air.
Hey, I can see it right now.
Yeah. I gotta breathe.
Teacher, may I go to a breathing? I got to breathe. I got to breathe.
But one teacher is strictly virtual.
And facetious.
And she'll do all the virtual teaching for all those kids that are doing it virtually. and those kids are in class or in the school building or in the brick mortar, they don't rotate classrooms. The teachers will rotate. Like Bill and I will swap and teach whatever subjects there are that they want to cover in that particular grade. Because elementary teachers are certified to teach all subjects.
I mean, if you're teaching PE right now, there'll be no PE, I would guess.
And they've got a brand new playground at the elementary school for on the big side, brand new playground, and I don't know what that will be. I think I don't want to speak out of turn, but I think teachers will take, like if I've got 20 kids in my class, they can go outside, but they got a social distance. But I'm not sure what the physical education's.
I'm actually worried about the people wearing the mask so long. I mean, is there any issues with wearing a mask for 8 hours straight? Or it's got to affect your respiration and breathing. So I'm glad that they're at least giving them breathing breaks where they can slip it off for a couple minutes.
I totally agree with that. Because like when I go to the grocery store, and sometimes I'm in the grocery store for an hour because there's so many people, and I'm trying to go down the aisles, and by the time I walk out of that grocery store and take that mask off, man, it's a relief.
Yeah. And the disc is still going to be spread out.
These lighter synthetic masks are so much nicer as far as easier to put on. They don't. Some of them are just sort of heavy and hot. You know?
We have cloths like that are heavy, and you can wash them. My wife bought probably 20 of them, so we just wash them every time we wear one.
Well, let me ask you this: far as we're still talking about these things, but one thing about it, will kids in Troy City schools wear their mask during the day?
Yes. You get out of your car, your mask needs to be on before you get out of your car.
They're checking their temperature at the door too.
Yes. Each hallway has their temperature.
Yeah, Carrie, my wife.
Each hall has a temperature before you go down that hall. Sanitation stations everywhere.
Monitor for the 200 buildings. She's got to check everybody's temperature in the whole building.
Mrs. Peabody, can I take a breathing break?
Well, they all go outside, from what I understand.
Yeah, I'm glad.
And,
but again,
people like on Facebook taking pictures of their kids, and then their kids going off to college. Everybody's crying and upset. The little ones are going off to school, and all these pictures with masks. And man, I'll be honest, I don't know what y'all think about it, but I don't even remember. I don't even want to remember this time in the world. I don't want to have pictures of me with a mask or my kids with masks on. It's so crazy the way the world is right now.
You said it, buddy. I mean, I just remember what Mike Amos said when I think it all broke when the Ivy League canceled basketball, the NCAA tournament, and then the NBA canceled the season. And Mike and I said everything is getting ready to change, and for once we were right, Mike. I mean, nothing that came after was.
What was our motto? Be scared. Don't be scared. Be
prepared.
Be prepared. And but it scares me to death to see how some of these kids and some of these people are acting about this. They feel like they're completely exempt from any viral infection, And
I mean, can you imagine being in a relationship in college? You meet a girl at a sorority party, but you never really see her face until maybe 6 months from now because everybody's going to wear a mask.
And you don't know for sure whether they got teeth or not. Is that right?
Exactly.
Well, you get to look at their eyes. Eyes can tell you a whole lot.
And you're right.
Did y'all even happen to watch what Dustin Johnson did in golf?
Shazam.
A lot of people say it's the greatest 4 rounds ever by a PGA Tour player.
Oh, my God.
30 under. It's incredible. He shot 60 one day, and I don't know if people realize he was 11 under with 8 holes to play when he shot 60.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, I think he shot 27 on the front 9. I think I heard somebody say.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Scheffler, the kid out of Texas, shot 59 that same day. But Dustin Johnson, I mean, I know he hadn't won a lot of majors, but that's already 22 wins. I think he's 36 years old.
Yes.
And, of course, he's number 1 in the world again. And a lot of people think he's going to win the FedEx Cup.
Did he lap the field? How much did he win by at that 30 under?
He won by 11 strokes yesterday.
That's like
Hey.
Secretariat winning that final race at the crown of the Triple Crown.
His sweetheart is Paulina Gretzky,
Yeah.
and they have 2 children, Tatum Gretzky and River Jones. They have 2 children
You
together. That's
reckon
who he
why they
dates.
don't get married, you know? That must be a good...
I think Dustin's just enjoying life.
Yeah, no
Well, they got
question.
2 kids. He's
tell
a
you something about
graduate.
If anybody wants to pull up a picture of Paulina Gretzky to show to the audience, he's definitely done well in life.
He played at Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
Isn't that where he played
Right,
golf?
North Carolina State, I thought. Where did he play?
You're right. We
played at
talked about
Coastal?
this before. He played at Coastal Carolina and Conway.
Well, Johnson
Coastal.
did. I thought he
Yeah.
played at North Carolina State.
Yeah, he played at Coastal.
Of course, I tell you what, he's doing so good.
Dustin Thomas really struggled. Of course, he was number 1 going in the FedEx Cup and number 1 in golf, but I think he finished 47th yesterday. He really struggled with the putter during the weekend.
What Dustin's doing is putting. He is putting. He's just a tremendous putter.
Well, he hits at 330 in the air. I mean, it's just crazy his distance.
But then when he gets on the green, he just feels like he's going to make every putt, and that's the key to it all, you know.
But I was watching just a little bit of it yesterday, and I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, I think he shot 63 yesterday.
That is amazing, yeah. To put 4 rounds
He did.
together like that low, I've never heard of it before.
And,
He
you know,
won $1.7 million.
Yeah. Oh, did he?
Well,
Yeah,
as
and
I
was
always
saying
said,
last
he
week,
won about $1 million. The government won about $700,000.
You know, and I was saying this.
The best round of the day was the kid from Mobile that played in Alabama, Robbie Shelton, was 8 under yesterday. So he played so well. He finished, I think, 13 under, and he was able to get into the next tournament of the playoffs because you basically start with 125 guys and they break it down to the top 70 after the tournament, and I think he's 61 now, so he'll play the BMW this week and then have a chance to play in Atlanta for it all.
I never remember this many former Alabama golfers doing so well at one time. I mean, there's about 5 of them that are on the PGA Tour, and they're all competitive. I mean, Michael Thompson won a tournament.
Bud Colley, Michael Thompson, Justin Thomas, Robbie Sheldon, and you had the Mullinex kid out of Gardendale, but he's one. Didn't you tell me a story? He got hit in the head by a golf ball?
Is that him? One of those Alabama golfers did. I bet it was him. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
He got hit in the head and has had bad issues of, an errant shot popped him in the head and did a lot of damage.
Mike, is Sheldon from Mobile, or where's he from?
Yeah, Sheldon's from Mobile.
All right, he's the one that shot up. One of back in high
With
school.
the other guy from Mobile, that's Bobby Watt.
All right, one of those guys when he was in high school. I want you to hear this: in the state championship, shot a 58 or something like
Yeah, I
that.
remember that. Something like that. Yeah.
58 or 56.
Yeah.
Did you see where Griff shot a 65 in the final round of the state amateur,
No.
the junior amateur?
Man, that is phenomenal.
Yeah, he finished tied for 15th, but these were all the top junior golfers in the state, last tournament of the year. And
But
but
he
in his final round, there were 3 rounds. He shot a 65, which was the low round of the entire tournament.
Oh, man,
Nobody
yeah.
shot in the whole state of Alabama shot a 65.
You know where that tournament was held or anything?
North Alabama.
Well, congratulations.
He
This
started
was,
school.
about 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He started school. He's in school. I saw him
at one of the.
at
But
Hansville.
to hit
Hansville
shoot a
Wallace
65 in
basketball.
an organized, real event where you got to, play from the back tees and they set the course up hard, that's impressive.
We want to thank all of our sponsors this morning, and of course we've got Election Day tomorrow. And tell us a little bit about that, Rice. Do you know the folks that are running for office?
Well, I know the Stephanie and Caleb, and so that's the one. And then we've got all the city elections, I guess, except for the candidates that are running unopposed. So everybody be sure to go and vote.
Yeah, in fact, the Troy mayor election has the Tyrone Moultrie going up against the incumbent, Jason Reeves. How many times,
Terms has Jason.
I think Jason's been mayor at least 8 years. I mean, Jimmy Lunsford was mayor for 30 years. I want to say Jason's been mayor for 8.
it runs up in a hurry, no question. For District 4 of the elections, Stephanie Baker, and I'm wearing her hat this morning. Run as the incumbent against newcomer Caleb Dawson. And in District 1, this is the Troy District 1 council seat. Robert Jones, the incumbent, going up against Sharon
McSwain. Holland.
I don't have my glasses on.
Sharon
McSwain.
Holland.
Let me get that before. Let me get that again. District 4 has Stephanie Baker against Caleb Dawson.
I voted in this election, but Robert Jones is a great guy, and of course he ran Crow's Chicken for so many years until he sold it off just a few years ago. And if I was in Troy, Alabama, I'd vote for Robert Jones.
That's your opinion, yeah.
I live in Green Beach, Florida.
Robert Jones endorsed by Michael Amos.
Yeah, Robert Jones.
That's tomorrow.
Sharon McSwain Holland going up against her. I think she's new in the race for city council member. So let's go over it one more time for the city of Troy. Tyrone Moultrie going head up against Jason Reeves. District 1 council seat, Robert Jones against Sharon McSwain Holland. And District 4 council seat, the incumbent Stephanie Baker going up against Caleb Dawson. Jones is also the incumbent. For the mayor of Brundage, and boy, what an election this is.
This is big news with Ramage and running for mayor again.
Yeah, the incumbent, of course, is Isabel Franny Boyd. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Isabella Boyd.
Of course, she's the incumbent going up against Anthony T. Foster, Mike McNally, Jimmy Ramage, and Rodney Wilson. That's for the mayor's seat.
Crowded field.
That's right. And, of course, Miss Boyd is the incumbent in long-term.
When did Ramage decide not to run? 4 years ago, or is that 8 years ago? How long has it been since Ramage wasn't mayor?
I want to say 4 years. I could be wrong. I want to say 4 years. Of course, Jimmy Ramage served as the mayor of Brundage for, 30 years or more than that, wasn't it?
Probably, at least.
And, of course, one of the top people around. District 1 council seat in Brundage has Lynette Andrews going up against Betty Baxter, Gerald Holland, and Johnny Turbin. In Council District 2, Charlie Bell goes up against Jessica Collier, Stacy Flournoy, Alexandria M. Griffin, and Letitia Hall. That's in Council District 2. In Council District 3, Henry Hendock Everett, that's Henry Hancock Everett, against Angie Kelly, Margaret E. Ross. I think Miss Ross is an incumbent. I might be wrong. I don't want to say that if I'm wrong. District 4 has Byron Gaynor and Paula Wilson Hall going against each other. And in District 5, Brundage City Council seat, Christopher Foster goes up against James Sid Jones and Marilyn Munchie Rogers. I want to say Foster is the incumbent there, but I'm not positive. Y'all know.
I was looking at the Troy guidelines as far as going to games, and we've always said the stadium club. They said the stadium club will be open now 3 hours prior to the game.
Oh, that is
Service will be conducted by sedated employees at all times. All food will be prepackaged, and you'll follow all health and safety guidelines. And about tickets, will single game tickets be sold? The only way to guarantee a ticket for the 2020 season, according to Trojans.com, is to purchase season tickets. If a single game inventory becomes available, it'll be announced at a later date. Also, the Sound of the South and Troy cheerleaders, there's questions if they'll perform in the game. They said yes, the Sound of the South and Troy cheerleaders will perform at home games. Ways might look different than normal. These groups are integral parts of game day and will perform as part of pregame, halftime, and during the game. Due to the Sun Belt Conference guidelines, they will not be permitted to be on the field on game days, but will nonetheless remain a key part of game days at the vet. So very sad to see the Sound of the South won't be on the field, but I'm sure they'll be playing up in the stands the whole game.
Well, the ice cream lines are going to be bigger. You know, everybody goes up at halftime to get ice cream, but they usually go after the halftime performance of the Sound of the South. I'm sure.
Tailgating also will, it says yes, tailgating will be permitted on campus. Tailgates are asked to practice social distancing between tents. Please limit groups to no more than 10 individuals at a tent at one time, and face coverings are required when not eating or drinking.
Yep.
Well, since you're always going to be eating or drinking.
But officer, I was eating a popsicle.
I was having a rib.
Why did you go to jail? I accidentally was drinking at my tent.
Well, they got me eating that pimento cheese sandwich, you know, and I had my mask down too many seconds.
There'll be no Trojan walk.
They saw me with my mask down for over a minute and took me away.
There was
All
a
right,
monitor.
Forrest Lee's got some more details. Go ahead, Forrest.
There'll be no Trojan walk, no kid zone on the baseball outfield, and game day programs will be in a digital format on your phone or on the website.
So you could actually get the
TroyTrojans.com.
program. You get your own program if you wanted to before the game.
It'd have the no, they would not have paper rosters.
I know, but what I'm saying on
you
your
do it
computer.
online.
Online, yeah.
Online, and you can. It will have depth charts on there, the team's rosters, and all that kind of stuff. And remember, we have 6 ball games, and as we alluded to earlier, we're still hoping that we get to play the 5th of September based upon what's happening in Louisiana Monroe.
I've already talked to friends of mine that have.
TroyTrojans.com says Mike Amos cannot say, "Let's get ready. Let's get ready."
That's right. At the head of that wall. At the head of that wall.
You can't say "We are Troy" either, apparently.
That's right. Now, surely I can do that, can't I? Well, let me tell you this. I'm not a part. I've been a part of the walk for years, and all I do is head down ahead of the main group, make sure everybody's in proper order on the curb and on the walk.
So, I tell you what, when the highlights of my life was Neil Brown. I don't know if it was last year in Mobile. So we're at the hotel. I guess it's the Marriott downtown Mobile, getting ready for the ball game, and I mean, I don't know how many people were outside with the band playing, and just everybody's going crazy because the team's about to come out and get on the buses and go to the stadium. Next thing I know, Neil Brown is pushing Mike Amos out with the players, and Mike Amos leads the team out of the hotel to the buses. That was pretty amazing.
We are Troy.
Can't say Troy State. It used to be we are Troy State.
Let me tell you, I helped set up the deal from the hotel to the buses, and you had to have somebody out front to make sure that everything was in order. And that's what I was doing. I wasn't with the walk itself, but I was part of the group that was putting together the walk.
You led the walk for the ball game that day because you were the first one out.
And I was proud. I was proud too. Yes, sir. No question about it. And I would be proud to do it again. You know.
Well, I like what Troy and the Sunbelt are doing. They're going full steam ahead as much as they can.
Mike, there's a game out there this weekend. I want to say it's the third. Excuse me.
Is Johnny Williams' game going to take place in Montgomery this weekend?
Yeah, it should, and we're gonna have a call into him in a few moments. But Mike, the game between Southern Miss and South Alabama, what's the date on it? The 3rd, isn't it?
That's the 3rd on a Thursday night.
I wouldn't mind driving down to see that, to see their new stadium and watch that ball game. I think it'd be a heck of a game and a fun game to go to.
I think you got to go to Hattiesburg.
Hattiesburg.
Oh, it's in Hattiesburg?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought it was in the
new stadium.
Okay, they've got a brand new stadium at South Alabama.
Yeah, Mike called me the other night, and he's like, "Man, when Troy plays South, will we be able to get tickets?" He's like, "Let's go down and stay at the Boulevard in Biloxi," which a lot of fans would love to do. Is go stay in Biloxi and then drive back to Mobile for the game, but I don't know if you can get tickets to any away games this year.
I know it, and that's a big one too. But it's on a Saturday. It's not on a Thursday, is it?
Well, no, I mean, it's on a Saturday night, but I'm just saying I don't know if you can get tickets to any away games. Yeah, South Alabama had Southern Miss on Thursday night.
At Southern Miss.
That's a good question. How can you get tickets to away games?
Yeah. Mike, this new stadium.
There'll be several people flying with the team out to BYU, I would think, to Provo, but I don't know if you could actually say you're a Troy alumni and you're in that area, if you wanted to try to go to that game, if you could go or not.
I'm sure you could probably get some tickets here in Troy if they're not completely sold out. But I'll tell you this, that would be a great trip for anybody. But now the game will be live on ESPN, won't it?
I want to say, knowing that the Big Ten is canceled and the Pac-12 is canceled, ESPN has a contract agreement with BYU to show a lot of their games, and I would think that will be a late night game, maybe on ESPN, Troy and BYU, because they're looking for something out west.
What's the date of that game?
Unfortunately, it's the 26th, where all the big boys start that day as well, so you're gonna have tons of games that day. But I would think if they want to have something late night, you might have BYU and Troy.
That's awesome. Good job to Brent for pulling that together.
Yeah, I mean, you got a home and home. I mean, I think it's a win-win.
Awesome.
Jacksonville State ended up getting that game against Florida State because Florida State lost their game against Sanford, and then UAB ended up filling their schedule with Central Arkansas, and then they have Lafayette coming to Birmingham. So that was also a possibility. But I think Brandt's big thing, just like Dad always says, he wanted 6 home games, and he got 6 home games.
That's 6 paydays for the city of Troy and Pike County too. I would say that at least $1 million flows through of tax-based money flows through Troy on a football weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wouldn't you think that'd be at least $1 million weekend for our tax base?
I wouldn't know about this year.
Well, like this year, it'll be half of what it's always been, but you take half over 0, right?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, have you heard of some people, friends of mine that, big Tide Pride, and they have season tickets to Alabama for, 30, 40 years, and, they can go to games in Tuscaloosa this year, but they're also having to pay a ridiculous amount of money, and they can't go to all the games. So, like, if you wanted to try to go to the Georgia game, of course, everybody in the world wants to go to that, or try to go to the Auburn game, everybody in the world wants to go to that. You can pick between 2 to 3 games, but only, like, the really highest point Tide Pride members and the big money people can go to all the games. So, it is an extreme situation, and everything's going to be over your phone. So, it's going to be, it's going to be anybody you even meet that goes to games this year, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah. One thing I just crossed my mind, like when Troy University opens up, are they going to pack all those players up, take them to Montgomery and spend the night? I believe they'd cut that cost out. Just sleep in your own bed tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
I think they will.
They go out of town to Montgomery and spend the night up there, and then they'll bus them back.
I bet this year
They'll
they cut that
out.
expense.
I'm curious as to if they do that.
Troy really needs a game day conference center with a hotel attached. That would be nice. That's what Alabama does, have the capstone.
Something sort of sad for the South Alabama game. See, Troy's band probably would not be able to go to that game. The South Alabama game, and that would be, they would take 8 or 9 buses. In this day and time, it'd take 14 to 15 buses, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
They wouldn't let them sit side by side,
If South Alabama, which I'm sure they do, will have restrictions on their stadium, brand new stadium, that stadium is going to be packed restrictively, and I don't think there'll be much outside chance that somebody go to the game unless they're guaranteed so many tickets for the Troy fans.
And the only other way I could see is just have a little pep band instead of the full band. And that's sad because it was a good way for Troy's band to show themselves off in the Mobile area.
Yeah, that's right. It shows off one of our town's greatest assets. Yeah. And then I think these band students, they love these trips, going together.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of memories. I think a lot of courtships and marriages have come in from people that were in the band together.
Oh, yeah.
And so a lot of these events are canceled now.
Yeah. Their alumni is huge, and a lot of people come in just to see the band and everything. But I will say this, the home games, and we're talking about 6 feet apart, the south end zone at Troy, all of that section from sideline to sideline would be full of band people. It'll be a tremendous music coming from that south end zone.
Well, in the paper it says to ensure social distancing for our season ticket holders, a 2-seat buffer will be added around each ticket block. In other words, about like we're sitting now.
Yeah.
Be a 2 seat.
So Mike Amos has been on the 50-yard line for 20 years, and there's a chance they're going to bump you off the 50-yard line, man.
Well,
They'll probably let him have his ticket.
But you know what?
first.
I'll be able to keep hopefully my.
They're going to say the usher and the attendants are going to say you're going to have to sit down. You can't move around the whole game.
But I'm on the inside rail. I'm not number one seat there, so. Then the other seat would have to be the number 3 seat. Is that right?
No, your little block can sit side by side.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so you know, Carol can sit next to you, or Michael could, or your daughters can sit next to you.
And I think that's.
Or you invite me. You give me one of your tickets. I'll sit next to you.
At 17 and 18 is right there on the 50-yard line. That means seat number 17 will have to be at least 2 seats away from me, I reckon.
And they're going to make masks available to all people entering the stadium.
Yeah, so they'll, if you don't
Mask will
have
be
your
available.
mask, they'll give you one.
That's what it says.
Is that right?
That's what it says in the paper.
So it's going to be interesting, and we'll learn more.
I'm
going to
miss. So we can't get a stadium dog at the game.
Well, let me tell you this.
Prepackaged.
They'll have hot dogs and burgers wrapped, I would think.
The best hot dog I've ever had in my life was back when the old Troy Quarterback Club used to have the concession stand.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do, they pre-wrap the hot dogs, and then they would have a mixture of mustard and ketchup, and put on the hot dog, fold it up real tight, put it in a steamer. And it was a wonderful hot dog.
Bring that back. I like that.
That steamer, you could just like a green sandwich shop that your daddy used to talk about.
You know, we went to Mimi Mall and Pawpaw's Saturday to swim at their pool, and we stopped at Sykes and Conn's on the way so Carrie could get some comfortable shoes for her teaching gig this year. And while she and Maggie were inside getting the shoes, Jack and I went to Hamburger King and got us a hamburger and a hot dog. But that is the first hot dog that Jack's had that he's actually had it in the bun and had ketchup and mustard.
Yeah.
He eats hot dogs, but usually he just takes the hot dog out and eats the hot dog.
Yeah.
That time he ate the hot dog like you're supposed to eat the hot dog, so I was proud of him.
I tell you what, pay close attention to Piggly Wiggly. They got a great hot dog, but it's just caked with onions. I love onions, but onions do not like me.
That's right. But they are good on the hot dog.
They are good, no question about it. And,
Looks like LSU will be closing campus due to Hurricane Marco, so football practice is still going to be on, according to ESPN. Of course, Louisiana is going to get hit maybe with both storms, so hopefully it won't be as bad with Laura, but they're acting like Laura could be a Category 3 hurricane.
Ooh.
Landfall.
Wow.
Mike Go Tigers, the head football coach at LSU, had won more games
They're
against.
doing something before the season, win a date with Ed Orgeron. You know, he got divorced in Austin.
I know it, man.
That's one of their fundraising campaigns is to go out with Ed Orgeron. It's already up to like 1.5 million, I think.
Let me tell you this, out of all the coaches in America, ladies and gentlemen, at any level, the guy that looks like he might be toting would be Ed Orgeron.
Well, there's a black cloud
Y'all know
over
what
the
I'm
program.
talking about? Like a black suit down in New Orleans, mafia or whatever.
Yeah.
He looks like one of those guys, but of course he's a very nice guy. Let me tell you what he's done, Mike. He's won more big games against top 15 teams than anybody in college football.
There's a black cloud over their program.
I've been following that a little
What
bit.
is it?
It's allegedly, former running back has allegedly been accused of sexual misconduct, and those two ladies have said that they reported it to officials, and it never came.
They never did anything
They
about it.
never proceeded with the proper steps.
Sexual assault.
Right.
And, basically, probably sexual assault covered up.
There's guys that just got cut by the Redskins for the same issues.
Yes.
Yeah. Boy,
That's a cloud over their program. And
I know. I hate
but
it.
let's get back to the positive stuff where they talk about the guidelines for Troy season. You can also get season tickets for $60. Big article right
the
here.
best deal in the
So
country
there's
right
the best
there.
deal in the country. That will get you inside the stadium.
That is a
Season
great
ticket.
deal, no question
Call
about
Troy
it.
University.
So you can get season tickets for your whole family for $240.
That's right. We're straight up 8 o'clock. Let's go to a commercial break. Brought to you by Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks on the bypass. Remember this, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't remember anything on this show, nobody beats a Premier deal. Nobody.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance, whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies. Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your insurance needs.
A personal touch. A high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
Trojan Auto Parts of Troy, home of Napa Know-How. Stop by and see owners Mike and Melissa Kilcrease and their Napa Know-How team with over 100 years of combined experience. We're the only locally owned parts store in Pike County, and we're fully stocked and ready to serve you. We pride ourselves on being your go-to parts store, not only for the simple items, but we specialize in those hard-to-find items as well. Trojan Auto Parts, the right part at the right price at the right time. Napa, a name you've trusted here in Troy since 1945.
Here at Bill Jackson Chevrolet in Troy, we've been doing business the right way for 31 years. But don't take our word for it. We feel our customers express it the best.
Been honest in everything we've discussed with them.
When they say Jackson Satisfaction, they really mean it.
The Jackson Satisfaction
of interest, you know.
All right, we're back.
Back to our show, brought to you by Max Federal Credit Union on the bypass right here in Troy, and we appreciate all the great people there. You want some deals on mortgage insurance and automobile insurance, no better place than Max Federal Credit Union. Also want to mention Bird Drugs on the corner in downtown Troy, and they've got that delicious breakfast going on right now, and it is delicious. Their sausage and biscuits, I'll put them up against anybody. Their patty sausage and biscuits and their link sausage and biscuits. And of course, looking for ice cream in the afternoon, Bird Drugs is the place to go. Joe Watson's a wonderful guy. Do y'all know Joe Watson, the two of y'all? Do y'all know him?
Oh, you're great.
Is there a finer man anywhere than Joe Watson?
You know, I thought one time a neat column would be what people are the best known people in your town, famous.
Yeah.
Mike Amos would be at the top of the list.
I don't know.
But I thought people like pharmacists, like how many people does Joe Watson know, or know Joe Watson? He must be thousands of people.
He's been kind to, you know. I mean, over, you know what? He has brought medicine to my house, leaving his house, going to the drugstore, and bringing it to my house before. He's done that numerous times. That's the kind of fellow he is.
He's a top customer of all time, though. You've been a very financially good customer to him.
Well, I'll tell you something else too. Well, you're right. I have bought him many a breakfast, but let me tell you this. We appreciate all of our Cinco drugs.
Can I tell a story about you, Mike? It might embarrass you.
No, go ahead.
Last time I was on here before, I had to do kid duty for 2 weeks. We had the missionaries from the Mormon church that were here. After the show was over, Mike takes them all the Bird Drugs, feeds them, and so they really appreciated that. Was 4 people appreciated those meals. And then when we're finishing eating, he said, now listen, anytime y'all want a milkshake or something, you just come in here to Bird Drugs and charge it to my account.
Wait a minute, go off, everybody doing it.
Oh, wait, I might have said that, yeah.
No, I'm joking.
Well, they know, Mike told them that if these people come in, you serve them, but they are obviously Mormon missionaries, but... And then I mean, you've done that through the years. I mean, he empathizes with the fact that these kids are away from their homes, away from their families, and he wants them to have good memories of Troy, their time in Troy.
And I'll tell you another thing that you didn't say. About 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago, I had a group I'm on my show, and this cute young lady was pretty much the spokesman for the whole group. And I found out at the latter part of the interview was her daddy was the athletic director at BYU.
Yeah.
Wow.
And well, I didn't think a whole lot of it about it, but later on in the summer, I walk in my office. I work part-time with the university at with Alumni Affairs, and there was a package on my desk, and it came from BYU, Provo, Utah, and I had a big, nice blue and silver jacket. I had a beautiful shirt and all that, and a note from the athletic director thanking me for being so kind to his daughter when she was on her mission here.
Wow.
Well, and in the
Some
note,
people are saying that's how Troy got the home and home with BYU.
well, I don't know. I don't
Thank
know
you,
about
Mike.
that. But his name was Homer. His last name was Homer, I want to say. And he did write in the letter. He said, you know, you mentioned, and he had a tape of it, and he saw the tape. He said you mentioned about Troy playing BYU in football. He said, well, you tell these guys to get in touch with me. We could make that happen.
Wow. Well,
That was 4 or 5 years ago, and now we're gonna play them. You know.
is he still the athletic director? Do you know?
Yeah, he's still athletic.
I bet you that was part of it, Mike.
But it's amazing.
That's a great story.
I mean, these kids go off on train.
We're probably
And I am
playing
not
BYU right now because Mike was just being nice to a stranger.
I'm not a Mormon, and don't pretend to be a Mormon. Now, I do have great respect for those young missionaries and anybody that they believe in Christ is the Son of God, and that's all they got to tell me is they worship Christ through. And through faith in God, and you can have everlasting life, and they feel the same way we do. But at the same time, when we had them in the other day, I said, they were flying in from everywhere. I was trying to find out, make sure that they had gone through proper procedures.
Well, one had flown in from Argentina.
Yeah, but now you know what? I found out that one girl had to go through 4 or 5 different stations to get over here from there. So
Michael, have you been watching the internet and seen some of these pictures and videos people are showing of different cities, like how deserted they are now? It's really creepy. Like New York City, and I saw one of San Francisco. That somebody just took a bunch of pictures and videos at what's normally rush hour. I mean, it's almost deserted. It's just surreal.
One of my best friends told me a story. He flies, and he flew his family down to Florida, and they stopped at Disney World, and they went for the day. He said there was no lines. He said it was the greatest Disney World experience of all time. He said it was just incredible. Nobody was there.
Oh, man. Isn't that unreal?
Well, maybe we need to go right now. I promised my kids I'm going to take them.
He said you had to wear a mask and everything like that, but he said as far as the experience, it was the greatest experience ever. I mean, that's what everybody always talks about is how horrible it is, the lines and all the people and this and that. I mean, can you imagine having almost like Disney World to yourself?
Yeah, I know it. There's no question about it. It's had an effect on so many. You know what it had a huge effect on, and ladies and gentlemen, you need to go to your Bible and read your Bible and get closer to God. But the churches. The churches have been hurt worse than anybody. Mm-hmm. Now, you're offering in church.
I know.
Hey, one of the things you need to do today is write your church a check because they need it worse than anybody.
That's true. And
they're serving.
And they're trying to do a lot more. Yeah.
That's right. And it's been tough. It's been real tough on them. And we got a new pastor of the First Baptist Church here in Troy, and he's going to be on our show soon. He has really gone all out to see that his congregation is well served.
But that's a good point, Mike, about the churches. I've thought about that. How are they making it really without the collection, the weekly collection plate? I guess a lot of people have set up their giving on a recurring basis. But, you know, a lot of people, me, I would just go and put something in the plate when I went to church.
That's right.
You know, I haven't done that in 6 months.
But, and again, a lot of people are not going to services. I think First Baptist allows people back into their church. Calvary, where I go, they allow people, but you got to be at a distance, you know. Mm-hmm. Wear your face mask and be at a distance. So
my mother-in-law, Liz, says that their church service, she's an Episcopalian, is, you know, it's outside in the cars. They don't even let them go in the building. At First Methodist, they're letting a few people in the sanctuary now.
You know, one of my favorite places to eat in Montgomery is Martin's Restaurant, and I don't know if they still have long lines of cars waiting to get their food. But yeah, it's great food too. No question about it.
Like right now, like in Great Beach where I live, my wife's taking our kids to school and they're soaking wet because it's pouring down raining right now. What do they do? The little Troy kids, they're having to walk to school today. I mean, if it's pouring down raining, they just walk in the rain.
That is a question
not many
around
do
the world about that. What do you think?
Not when it's raining. Usually somebody brings them. You know, those kids. Some may walk. Very rarely, when it's bad weather, they'll get brought to school by their parent or someone.
That's something to be concerned about.
All days. I remember when I was doing the show live with Dad, I'd be driving to the studio and I'd see all those little kids walking early in the morning and it'd be freezing cold, and I was just like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like Abraham Lincoln walked 10 miles every day through the snow to go to, paid off for him.
Your pawpaw walked down the railroad tracks to Carbon Hill to go to school back when he was growing up.
I'm pretty sure between Mike Amos and Michael Amos, we could probably donate 200 jackets to kids if they needed them.
Yeah, we could find them. You're right, we could find them. And it's something to think about, no question about it.
It'd be interesting to see all the schools today from a distance to how people come to school.
That's right.
You know, how they enter the buildings, and it's going logistics is a word.
Lee, of course, is a former educator in a long time, and Bill Rice, of course, is another lifelong Troy resident that had owned his own newspaper business at one time, but he's a writer, and more your writings are getting top billing. Bill, tell us about it.
Well, I appreciate it, Mike. I've trying to make your go as of a freelance writer. What you do there is you basically come up with your own story ideas, and then you write them or talk to an editor, and they agree that, if you do this story, we'll pay for it. And, you know, it could be in one publication or 1 week, and then another story would be in a completely different publication. But a lot of magazines now, that's the way they get their content, is they don't want to pay for full-time staff because they got to pay them benefits and salaries. They'd rather pay some freelance writer just a set fee. You know, I'll pay you X $100 for this story and be done with it. But yeah, that's what I do now. And so it's fun because I'm writing on national topics and my stories get published. They're really being read all around the world. So that's fun.
Well, I tell you what, your research on the COVID-19 virus has been very accurate.
I've done it, yeah.
Looks like it's been very accurate.
I don't know. I mean, I've started to do enough research where I've literally seriously thought about, well, maybe I could turn this into a book.
Said wrap it up. It's 8:15 almost.
Right.
Said wrap it up.
We're talking about, we got the Jeffrey Bennett show coming up next, brought to you by one of our great places, Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, right here in Troy, Alabama. We hope that you've enjoyed our show today, and of course want to mention also the elections coming up tomorrow. Let's go over it one more time, though. For the mayor of the city of Troy, here's your two candidates. Tyrone Moultrie goes up against the incumbent, longtime incumbent, Jason Reeves. District 1 has Robert Jones going up against Sharon McSwain Holland. That's in Council District 1. In Council District 4, the incumbent Stephanie Baker goes up against the newcomer Caleb Dawson. Of course, want to mention that Robert Jones is also the incumbent in District 1. So, District 1, Robert Jones and Sharon McSwain.
No.
Paramore.
No.
And then Stephanie Baker going up in District 4 is going up against Caleb Dawson. And hey, tip of the hat, Stephanie. Want to mention also.
What's the weather look like? It's going to probably be awful tomorrow. I would imagine the voter turnout will be pretty poor.
I don't know exactly, but let's look at it real quick. The mayor of Brundage.
Where can you vote in Troy?
Same places, right?
Well, the First Baptist Church is one place you can. That's where I vote.
You still go to the National Guard Armory?
Yeah, no, I don't know about that now. I need to get that information tomorrow to you. Mayor Isabel Franny Boyd, the incumbent for mayor of the city of Brundage, are going up against Anthony T. Foster, Mike Manelli, Jimmy Ramage, a long-term mayor for years, Rodney Wilson, that's for mayor. District 1, Lynette Andrews, Betty Baxter, Gerald Holland, and Johnny Turbin in District 1 in Brundage. And then District 2, Charlie Bell, Jessica Collier, Stacy Flanoy, Alexandria M. Griffin, and Letitia Hall. In Council District 3, Henry Hindock Everett, Angie Kelly, and Margaret E. Ross. And then District 4 is a big race is going on in Brundage. District 4 has Brian Gaynor going up against Paula Wilson Hall. That's District 4. And finally, in District 5, you have Christopher Foster. I think he's the incumbent. James Sid Jones and Marilyn Munchie Rogers in District 5 council seat. And those elections are tomorrow. And we don't have the exact. And then, of course, the elections are tomorrow. And if there's a runoff in Brundage, it will be on October the 6th. So there probably will be a runoff for the council seats in the city of Brundage and for mayor, too. So that will be on October 6th. Again, we appreciate you two guys being with us today. My good friends, Bill Rice Jr. and, of course, Forrest Lee. And we appreciate you even more. And stay tuned for the Jeffrey Bennett Show. And, of course, brought to you by Wiley Sanders.